Hello, welcome to my another classic fights video. This is the Floyd Mayweather Ricky Hatton review. So Floyd Mayweather and Ricky Hatton fought in December 2007 for the WBC and Ring Magazine welterweight titles. Ricky Hatton had just defeated Juan Luis Castillo in a welterweight bout, and Floyd Mayweather just defeated Oscar De La Hoya for the WBC light middleweight title. So Floyd Mayweather just obviously defeated Oscar De La Hoya and became a 5-weight world champion. Then he went back down to welterweight because Ricky Hatton made some offensive comments in Mayweather's view about his fighting career in an interview after his win. So they had the 24/7 series showing obviously Hatton and Mayweather's life, the build up to the fight, the way they the training, interviews, that sort of thing. It was a good little series to show the insight on both fighters. So when they had the press tour going around different countries, which obviously included America and UK, you could tell the cliche, and there's a good face off between. He had Hatton, the silent but deadly British fighter, and he had Mayweather, the fast talking, brash talking American. So this fight was a great match off because you had Ricky Hatton, who was aggressive, pressure fighter, slugger, sort of really heavy. He was a powerful puncher. Not the best skillful, but he had good heart and determination. And he had Mayweather, the slick American boxer, who was obviously unbeaten, just like Hatton was. He had the fast hands, he had the coordination, the timing. He was a complete fighter. So when they actually faced off early in the round, Hatton had some success. First round he wobbled him, he roughed him up, he made Mayweather a bit awkward in his style. But gradually, after maybe a few rounds into it, Mayweather gradually found his groove, started picking off Hatton with good right hands combinations, breaking Hatton's rhythm, and eventually the referee, Joe Cortez, in my view, didn't do a great job because every time Hatton came in and he was going to rough him up with the body shots, go into Hatton's obviously style, Cortez kept breaking him up, which is annoying because if you look at Hatton, the way he fights, yeah, he might be a bit rough and a bit dirty, or clinching obviously isn't, you don't want to see that in a fight, but sometimes it does obviously apply to a fighter's style, just like Hatton's. So every time Hatton went in, tangled up obviously with the way Hatton normally fights, Cortez kept breaking him off, and really after a while you could see a pattern emerging. Hatton closes Mayweather, clinch, Cortez break him up. I know that's obviously in the rules, but obviously after a while it was quite frustrating because Hatton could never get his punches off, he could never really do any good effect to Mayweather, which obviously became frustrating. And gradually throughout the fight, middle towards the end of the rounds, around 5th round onwards, 6th round onwards, Mayweather was dominating Hatton. Hatton did have his few bright moments, but overall, eventually in the 8th round, and then between the 9th round as well, Mayweather was dominating Hatton. Combinations really teeing off on him, combinations to the head, to the body, right hands, really picking off Hatton. And it's a shame because obviously I like Hatton. He was a good fighter. Obviously when he was in his prime, and he was a prime Ricky Hatton. He couldn't have got any better at this point. He was with a great training camp, obviously, like you said. He had his good setup team that he'd had for a long while. So Ricky Hatton was at his prime, and obviously he did his best, but at the end of the day it wasn't enough. So eventually in the 10th round, Hatton moved in, lunged him with a big left hook, and Mayweather connected with a good right hook. Hatton's head went into the ring post, and he got flat, and he went flat on his back. You can tell the fight was going to be ended by then. Hatton got up, to his credit, got up, but Mayweather finished him off with a couple of combinations to the head, and Joe Cortez waved it off, and Hatton crumbled to the canvas again. So Ricky Hatton had his first loss of his career, and Mayweather improved obviously in his undefeated record, retaining his WBC and Ring Magazine welterweight titles. So after this fight, obviously there's a couple of questions obviously loomed, obviously over Hatton and Mayweather. Would Hatton retire? Would he carry on fighting? Or would Mayweather retire, keep to his word, retire on top, and maybe have a comeback later on? So that Mayweather was true to his word. He did retire eventually after this fight, relinquishing obviously both his titles. He didn't come back until September 2009 when he fought Manuel Marquez. Ricky Hatton did carry on. He had a comeback fight against Juan Lascano in the City of Manchester Stadium 2008. It wasn't his best performance, but he had a win, and then gradually obviously everyone knows what happened to Ricky Hatton. If you don't, I'll tell you. He fought Paulie Malignaggi 2008, probably one of his best wins, even though Malignaggi is a good fighter, good technical boxer, good speed, good timing. It's a good boxer, but he doesn't have enough power to really trouble Hatton. Hatton did dominate Menage, but then obviously, sadly, Ricky Hatton then lost to Manny Pacquiao in 2009 with RBO and Ring Magazine light welterweight titles. Got destroyed by Manny Pacquiao, got knocked down twice in the first round, then he got finished off with a devastating left hook to the jaw from Manny Pacquiao, virtually poleaxing Ricky Hatton and send him into semi-retirement. So overall, this fight was a good fight. It was good in my eyes. Reason why it's a classic fight is because good clash of styles. It did fit the billing as undefeated, because I was both undefeated fighters. Both going into the fight as obviously in their prime sort of stage of their careers. Floyd Mayweather did beat, in my eyes, the best Ricky Hatton that they could have. Maybe if he fought with him after the Costa Zoo fight in 2005, which is in my eyes Ricky Hatton's best win, maybe the fight could have been a bit different. But by then, Floyd Mayweather was coming into his own as a superstar in the sport of boxing, so no one could really moan about Ricky Hatton's performance. He did his best, and obviously come up short. It's a shame, but Ricky Hatton could still hold his head high. Did his best against Floyd Mayweather that he could. A lot better than some other fighters in my view have done. Yeah, he didn't last the full 12 rounds, but at the end of the day, you have to credit Ricky Hatton. He did his best, and he did Britain proud. And so this has been my Floyd Mayweather Ricky Hatton review. I'll see you in my next video.